Okay, what I'm going to show you is how to find real zeros with the calculator. Now, for some polynomials it's going to be easier than other polynomials. Now, the most important thing is we recognize what we're dealing with to begin. This is a fourth degree polynomial. That means I know the end behavior on the left and right are both opening up because my lead coefficient is positive. So this polynomial function is going to, in the end, behave like the power function y equals 3x to the fourth. So left-hand behavior is going up, right-hand behavior is going up. Because it's a fourth degree polynomial, it has at most 3 terms in there. It's important that we know the possibilities before we use the calculator. Because on the calculator, I want to make sure that I give myself enough window that I see these possibilities. Now, we're going to start off with a basic graph. Y equals 3x raised to the fourth. Now, once we have this entered into our calculator, we're going to set our window. I'm going to start with a -10 to +10 for the x, and a -10 to +10 for y, and take a look at what I see. I may expand this window a little bit later. I hit graph. I see it come down, up, up. Now, that may not look exactly like what I have written. However, it has all 4 directions. We just can't see the curves. I'm going to temporarily zoom out by using my zoom fit. This will give me a different view of it.
What is it?
You see it, zoom fit, goes down, up, up. The point is, you can't really see the zeros very well in this format. So even though this might give me a better outside picture, it doesn't really help me see my 4 zeros. So I'm going to go back to zoom standard. That was my -10 to +10 for both the x and the y. And there's 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, 4 zeros. Since this is a fourth degree polynomial, I know it has at most 4 zeros, and I'm looking at all 4 of them. Now I'm going to use the calculator to help me find those zeros. I'm going to hit second function, calculate. That's right there on the trace. And I'm going to ask it to help me find a 0. Now, problem with this is you have to have a good idea of where they're at. This is why it's so important to have the scale. This is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So on the left bound, I'm going to put -5. On the right bound, I'm going to put -3. And my best guess, it appears to be right at -1, 2, 3, 4. This tells my calculator where to find it. The actual 0 is located at -4. So my first 0 is at -4. Now I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to try to find this 0 here next. I'm going to push the blue button for me, the second function, then calculate, and I'm going to ask the calculator to help me find a 0. Now, it wants me to go left of my 0, so now I need to estimate where my 0 is. It's between -1 and -2. So the left is -2, the right is -1, and the best guess, I'm going to put it at about -1.2. It's just a guess. Calculator's going to find it. So it's going to calculate it, and it calculates the next one at -1.3 repeating. I'm going to write that as a fraction, but you should recognize that as -1 1/3 or -4/3. I just prefer to see numbers as fractions and decimal approximations. I'm now going to go to my next 0. It appears to be right about there. I'm going to estimate it. 1, 2, 3. So I think my next 0 is at x equals 3. I'm going to have my calculator help me find it by hitting second function, calculate, a 0. Okay, if I think it's at 3, then the left of 3 is 2, the right of 3 is 4, my best guess is 3. And yes, in fact, I was right on my guess, but it doesn't matter. Calculator's going to find it. You just have to guess close. So my next 0 is at x equals 3. And last but not least, next one's going to be at approximately 4, 5. So I'm going to find that by second function, calculate, a 0. The left of 5 is 4. The right of 5 is 6. My guess was 5. And my guess was correct. But it didn't have to be correct because the calculator will find the value. I have now used my calculator to find 1, 2, 3, 4 of the zeros for me, which means I can now write this in factored format. F of x equals, I'm going to bring down the 3, x minus a -4 times x minus a 4/3 times x minus 3 times x minus 5. It's the same fourth degree polynomial, but I used my calculator to help locate those zeros. Once we located the zeros, we could write it in factored form.